Before bars, before beer bottles, before wine glasses, before humans even knew what alcohol was, the first drink may have started with something simple. A fruit fell from a tree. It sat on the ground. It began to rot. It started to ferment, and one hungry human decided to eat it. That may have been the first time humans discovered alcohol, not in a party, not in a tavern, not in a village celebration, but by accident. A strange smell, a sweet taste, a weird feeling after, and maybe someone came back looking for more. This is the story of when humans first started drinking alcohol, and the strange possibility that one of our oldest habits began with rotten fruit. Today, alcohol is everywhere. Beer, wine, whiskey, champagne, bars, parties, weddings, celebrations, arguments, regrets. For modern humans, alcohol is not strange. It is part of culture. But at some point in the deep past, someone had to discover it for the first time. And that discovery probably did not begin with someone inventing a recipe. It probably began in nature. Because alcohol can happen by itself. When fruit becomes very ripe, the sugar inside it can start to ferment. Tiny organisms break that sugar down. And one of the things they create is alcohol. That means long before humans made beer or wine, alcohol already existed in the wild. In fallen fruit, in tree holes, in sweet liquids left long enough to change. And humans were not the only ones who could find it. Animals could find it too. Birds, monkeys, elephants, insects. Any animal looking for sweet fruit could come across fruit that had started to ferment. And for ancient humans, that smell may have been important. Fermenting fruit gives off a strong scent. Sweet, sharp, different, a smell that can travel through the air. If you were hungry in the ancient world, that smell could lead you to calories. And calories meant survival. So imagine an ancient human walking through a forest. No farms, no stores, no kitchens, just hunger, trees, and whatever the land offered. Then they smell something sweet. They find fruit on the ground. It is soft. Maybe too soft. Maybe strange. Maybe it tastes different. But it is food, so they eat it. And after a while, something changes. Their body feels warm. Their thoughts feel lighter. Their movements feel different. Maybe they laugh more. Maybe they stumble. Maybe they feel sleepy. Maybe they feel strange enough to remember it. That moment matters. Because once humans noticed the effect, the fruit was no longer just food. It was something else. Something that changed how people felt. And humans are very good at remembering things that change how they feel. But at first, this was not a drink. It was probably not controlled, not planned, not measured. It was just nature doing what nature does. Fruit ripens, fruit falls, fruit ferments. Someone eats it, then someone notices. The real change came later when humans stopped only finding fermented things and started making them. That was a huge step, because making alcohol means understanding something without fully understanding the science. You do not need to know what yeast is. You do not need to know chemistry. You only need to notice a pattern. If you leave this sweet food alone, it changes. If you store this grain with water, it bubbles. If you keep this fruit juice in a container, it becomes something stronger. Ancient people were not stupid. They watched the world carefully. They learned by repeating what worked, and once they found a way to make fermented drinks again and again, alcohol became more than an accident. It became culture. One of the oldest strong pieces of evidence comes from ancient China at a place called Jiahu. People were making a fermented drink thousands of years ago. Not modern beer, not modern wine. Something older. A mixture made from things like rice, honey, and fruit. It was strange by today's standards, but it was clearly intentional. People were not just eating old fruit anymore, they were making a drink. Keeping it in containers, sharing it, using it as part of life. And that tells us something important. By that time, humans had already crossed a line. Alcohol had gone from accident to invention, from wild fruit to human choice. But China was not the only place. In the ancient Near East, there is evidence that people made beer-like drinks thousands of years ago. Some of it may have been tied to rituals, feasts, burials, group gatherings, moments when people came together. That makes sense, because alcohol does something powerful. It changes the mood of a group. It lowers fear. It creates bonding. It makes people feel closer. It can turn a normal meal into a ceremony, a funeral into a shared memory, a gathering into something people remember. That may be one reason alcohol became so important. It was not only about getting drunk, it was about people, a group sitting together, a shared container, a strange drink passed around, a feeling that something special was happening. And in ancient communities, those moments mattered because survival was not only about food and tools, it was also about trust, cooperation, belonging. If alcohol helped people gather, talk, sing, trade, celebrate, or mourn, then it became part of human life for more than just the effect on the body. It became part of the story people told about themselves. Then came farming, and farming changed everything. When humans began growing grains and storing food, they also created more chances for fermentation. Grain, water, warmth, time, those things can turn into beer-like drinks. Grapes and other fruits could become wine. Honey and water could become mead. And once people had containers, storage, and settled communities, fermentation became much easier to repeat. That means alcohol may have grown alongside civilization, not after civilization was complete, alongside it. In some places, people may have been making fermented drinks before they built large cities, before writing became common, before history was being recorded in the way we think of it now. That is what makes this question so interesting. When did humans first start drinking alcohol? The honest answer is probably earlier than we can prove, because the first fermented fruit left no bottle, no label, no recipe, no record. If someone ate alcoholic fruit 100,000 years ago, there would be almost nothing left for us to find. The earliest evidence we have comes from containers, residue, and archaeology, but the first experience itself may be far older. It may have happened so long ago that no trace remains. Only the behavior stayed, the curiosity, the memory, the desire to recreate that strange feeling. At some point, humans stopped waiting for nature to make alcohol by accident. They started helping it happen. They crushed fruit. They soaked grain. They stored mixtures. They watched bubbles rise. They tasted. They learned. They repeated, and little by little, the accidental drink became a human tradition. But alcohol was never simple. It helped people bond, but it also caused problems. It made people feel brave, but also careless. It made celebrations stronger, but mistakes easier. That is the strange line alcohol has always lived on. Part food, part poison, part ritual, part escape, part social glue, part danger. And maybe that is why humans kept coming back to it, because it did not feel like ordinary food. It felt like something with power. Power to change mood, power to change memory, power to change a gathering, power to make a hard life feel lighter for a moment. Think about ancient humans after a long day. No electricity, no comfort, no modern medicine, no easy life. Just work, weather, hunger, danger. Then someone brings out a fermented drink. Maybe it tastes sour, maybe sweet, maybe strange. People drink. They feel warmer. They laugh, they relax, they tell stories, they remember the dead, they celebrate a hunt, they mark a season. They feel for a short time that life is not only survival. That may be why alcohol became so deeply human, not because it was necessary like water, but because it touched something else: fear, pain, joy, memory, connection. And all of it may have started with something no one planned: a fallen fruit, a sweet smell, a hungry hand, a strange effect. Before alcohol was a drink, it was probably an accident. Before it was served in cups, it was hidden inside rotting fruit. Before humans built bars, nature had already built the first brewery on the forest floor. And somewhere in the deep past, someone found it. Someone tasted it. Someone remembered. And eventually, humans learned how to make the strange feeling return. That is how a simple accident may have become one of the oldest traditions in human history. A fruit fell. It fermented. Someone tried it, and humans never really stopped. Subscribe for more true stories drawn in simple lines.